Welcome to episode 5 of the 1001 Movies podcast. This time I'll be talking about Mel Brooks' 1974 comedy, Blazing Saddles.
What did you expect? Welcome, Sonny. Make yourself at home. Marry my daughter. You've got to remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land. The common clay of the New West. You know. Morons.
He rode a blazing saddle, he wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far. He conquered fear and he conquered hate. He turned dark night into day. He made his blazing saddle a torch to light the way. When outlaws rule the West and fear filled.
Today we know Mel Brooks for such classics as Young Frankenstein, History of the World Part 1, and Spaceballs. But his first big break into Hollywood was Blazing Saddles. Brooks had just finished making The Producers and The 12 Chairs, neither of which were critical hits, although The Producers went on to run in art theaters for quite a while. He moved to LA from New York to write Blazing Saddles, which started life as a very short script by Andrew Bergman called Tex X. Think Malcolm X in Texas. The final script was the product of 5 screenwriters, including Mel Brooks and Richard Pryor, who had made a number of television appearances but was yet to be seen as a major Hollywood player. Brooks thought Pryor was a shoo-in to play the film's lead, Bart, but Richard Pryor's reputation as a crazy drug user preceded him, and the producers rejected the idea, so the part went to stage actor Cleavon Little. Brooks knew Gene Wilder from The Producers, and he had shared the script with him, but he wanted an older veteran actor to play the Waco Kid. He approached John Wayne, who allegedly loved the script, but humbly told Brooks he couldn't do it because it was quote-unquote too dirty. Brooks then turned his sights on Gig Young, who won an Oscar for They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Young didn't even get through a day of shooting before he became sick from alcohol withdrawal and was hauled off in an ambulance. Finally, Brooks decided to cast Gene Wilder. Brooks knew that his script was going to be unconventional for the 1970s. There were several uses of the N-word, a horse being punched, and fart jokes. Warner Brothers told Brooks to remove all the aforementioned scenes before they would distribute the film, but Brooks had already contracted to have final say in the film's contents, and Warner had its hands tied. Blazing Saddles became Mel Brooks' first critical hit, and was even redistributed the next year. Of course, it did have its detractors. PETA had a lot to say about the horse punching scene, although no horses were filmed in the making of this picture, and many people were offended by Brooks' liberal use of the N-word. Ironically, according to him, all of these were white people. He never received any criticism from the black community. The film's tell it like it is humor, because there was no such term as politically incorrect in 1974, struck a chord. Some of the jokes are incredibly silly, but the script never insults the audience, always assuming, for instance, that the use of the N-word wouldn't offend in the context it was used, or that people would understand the reference to Randolph Scott. Now, I had to admit I had to look that one up, though. Blazing Saddles was nominated for 3 Academy Awards: Best Editing, Best Song for the Opening Number, and Madeline Kahn for Best Supporting Actress. Kahn's riff off Marlene Dietrich is one of the highlights of the film, although the entire cast really pulls it off, including Harvey Korman, Slim Pickens, and football player Alex Karras. The film is arguably one of the most inspiring comedies of all time, ushering in a new brand of humor that was used by movies like Airplane, Kentucky Fried Movie, The Cannonball Run, Austin Powers, and Scary Movie. Perhaps, unfortunately, this type of humor is still being beat to death today. What did I think of it? On many levels, Blazing Saddles is timeless. Of course, I think farts and puns are funny, so perhaps I'm not the best to judge. However, the film's beauty sprouts not just from its historical influence, but its performances. Madeline Kahn may have gotten an Oscar nomination, but my favorite remains Gene Wilder, who made a career playing the straight man both alongside other actors, primarily Richard Pryor, and by himself in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. His work in Blazing Saddles is no exception, my favorite line being the one about the townspeople being quote-unquote morons. By the way, Blazing Saddles sprouted a television sitcom in 1974 called Black Bart. It lasted one episode, but you can see it in the 40th anniversary Blu Ray edition that was just released. I lasted about 5 minutes in. Well, that's pretty much all I had to say about Blazing Saddles. The next episode will be about 1939's Ninotchka, directed by Ernest Lubitsch.